everyone. Welcome to Fabulous Living with Angela Jones. I'm your host, Angela Jones. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. I did. It was a super long and trying work week. Good work week, but it was just a long work week and very busy. So I was very excited to get here and do the thing that I love to do most, and that's be with you all for this hour every Sunday. So I'm super psyched. So, as you can see here, we have a lovely arrangement of all like spring-like things because Easter is 2 weeks away, 2 weeks from today. So I thought that today we would focus on Easter brunch. I'm going to get you all ready and have some recipes and different things to share with you all so that you can get everything into gear to have the perfect Easter soiree. How about that? So it's a lot to cover. I'm not going to do a whole lot of chit-chatting. We're going to get right to it. So I have another lovely, again, I told Jay, he shouldn't have told me I could do a PowerPoint because I have another PowerPoint presentation. So we're going to load up the PowerPoint presentation and we're going to walk through everything and get ready so that you can have a wonderful Easter brunch with your family and friends. So I have a lot of good stuff in store today. So Jay, whenever we're ready with the PowerPoint. Thank you. Uh-oh, something happened with my little presentation. Well, anyway, it says celebrations, Easter brunch, entertaining season has begun. So basically, to me, the spring kind of signals all the different celebrations that we're going to have. You know, I think Easter kind of kicks it all off, and then we're getting into, Mother's Day, and then graduations, and Father's Day, and barbecues. So I think Easter kind of kicks off the entire celebration season. So I'm excited about it. It's actually even warmer today, which is nice here in DC. So we are going right into like spring weather. Spring starts on Tuesday, so we're going to kick it right on off with this whole show today about brunch and entertaining. So first up, I'm going to continue setting the scene. Remember the last couple of weeks we've been talking about entertaining. So what I want to do today is I want to kind of show you a little bit of what I did for my spring/Easter tablescape. So what I wanted to do, I'm not really into the whole, like having the table look like it threw up Easter bunnies. I'm not really into that. I have like little subtle little things that kind of say, hey, it's Easter. Hey, it's spring. So of course, fresh flowers, as I told you all, that's my thing. So I want to show you all something. These are some cute little like jars that I got from Home Goods for like $6. And let me tell you how we can use these in two different ways. As you see, I used them to make, to do some fresh flowers today. But you can also use these, and I made two of them. You can also use them for your utensils on your buffet. So that's another way of utilizing these two. I just decided to use them as a vase today because you all know from last week how much of a flower junkie I am. So I thought I would use them as a vase, but they can definitely be used for, for your utensils on your buffet. So I thought those were really cute. And they say Happy Easter, and they kind of went along with my whole little theme of, I was trying to do everything in my brand color. So everything is like pinks and turquoise and greens and touches of gold and things like that here and there. So that's kind of the look I was going for with that. And then what I did here is, and I'm going to hold these up because you all won't be able to see them, but I did a table setting here, and then I did, to start off on top of the charger, I have like a smaller plate to put salad on. And aren't these pretty? They're so springy and scream Easter with the little flower motif, which is really pretty, and like the pink, and it has the turquoise and the gold in there too. So those are really lovely. And then I have a larger plate, and I'm just going to put it up the way I had it. A larger turquoise plate underneath. So that's kind of like what I had for the table setting. Then underneath, so I folded the napkin. So this is kind of how the napkin would go underneath let me hold it down a little bit. Underneath there. And then we kind of are still keeping with our thing with the flowers and the turquoise and all that pretty stuff. So that's a nice, pretty table setting. So, the next thing I kind of want to do is I want to go into one of the things I didn't share when I was talking about like setting the scene is music. And last week I wanted to get into it, but I wanted to make sure I got to the questions that people had on Instagram. So I thought that was a little more important. So I thought we can still continue with this whole entertaining thing and set the scene still. So what I like to do is I like to create a playlist on Spotify, or actually I usually have my goddaughter, Darylyn, she'll make one for me. And I'll kind of tell her what I want, and she'll just kind of create she has created some really cool playlists for me. So whenever I'm having a party, I can just go to that playlist, whatever mood that I'm in. So what I wanted to do was, because of copyright infringement, I don't want to go to jail over using someone's music. So what I was told is that my engineer Jay shared with me last week that I have to use royalty-free music. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to just pull up some different samples of different music that I've used that I like to use when I'm entertaining. So we're going to pull up a couple of things. So I have like an upbeat jazz. So that's kind of it's kind of more of a smooth, but kind of a mid-tempo kind of jazz. I'm a jazz girl, so very nice and relaxing while you're having your dinner, nice and soothing while you're having your meal, right? I like that. Then the next one is more of a smooth kind of like jazz. So that's really like... I like that. See, I get lost in this music. I love it. So it's really smooth and, and again, a nice one for dinner, right? I mean, I just think that's great. We could really keep this on. I could keep talking, but I know we can't do that. But anyway. And then the last one I think it's very appropriate because it's, it's Easter. And this one is a gospel jazz one that I found, which is really nice. It's really nice because, we're celebrating Easter. We're celebrating... it's a celebration. So I think the gospel is appropriate. We're celebrating, the resurrection of Christ. So that's important. So here we go right into some gospel jazz, which I thought would be really nice too. I think that's really pretty. Isn't that nice? Very nice. So that's some music to set the scene for your event. Music is very important. I think music is just as important as like the tablescape and everything else. It really sets the tone for the event, no matter what it is, whether it's a dinner or a brunch or it's a party. Of course, for a party, but even people mostly get into the music when they're having like more dancing and things like that. But I think that music is really important even when you're just having a small gathering or a brunch or a dinner or whatever. So music is really important. So. Anyway, now I want to kind of jump into etiquette for guests and hostesses. Just a couple of little rules and some things I kind of wanted to walk through, and then I kind of have some visuals here too. Okay, guest. The person is running around, they're trying to put the finishing touches on things. Don't arrive too early. Do not. I mean... I would say, the earliest you should get there is maybe 15 minutes after. Give the host some cushion to finish getting things prepared for you. You don't want to be there right at, brunch is at, 1. Angela said 1. Ding dong. No. Don't do that. Give me a few minutes to get it together. Get my hair together, pull it all together, So yeah, give me a few minutes. So give your host, a few minutes to get things together. Rule number 2, do come bearing gifts. Do not show up empty-handed. I don't care if the host has said don't bring anything. You come with something for your host or your hostess. And again, like I said, that could be, it could be candy. It could be a gift card. For me, I've had some friends, one of my friends is here in the studio, Kim, and she has given me like gift cards to Wegmans and things like that, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Things, especially if someone hosts all the time and they're always cooking and doing different things. Gift card to Crate and Barrel. Like I said, grocery store gift cards, flowers. But a tip, on the flowers, things that a fabulous guest knows, because we've been talking about what the fabulous hostess knows, things that a fabulous guest knows is don't come to the event and give somebody just some flowers that you just purchased from the grocery store. They are scrambling, trying to pull everything together for the party. They're not going to have time to even put the flowers in water. So ideally, like this floral arrangement, these two full hydrangea, $5, people. $5. Again, I told you the vase was $6. For $12, you can come to the Easter brunch. Hi, Lisa, here you are. Happy Easter. And everything is already prepared. That's the way to go. Because again, that's something else that your hostess has to think about. Finding a vase, filling it with water, putting fresh flowers in it. So be mindful of that and already come with the flowers already set. And then that way too, they can automatically use them right away during the event, right? How fabulous is that? The other thing that's a really good hostess gift, of course, candles. Just some things outside of like bringing a bottle of wine or something like that. They're flowers, they're candles. If you're, this might not be everyone else's thing, but if you know this person is really a hostess and into different things, things like like dish towels or something like that with a really, maybe it's the latest cookbook, the latest, Entertaining Gurus cookbook. You can have that book, along with the dish towels, in a really lovely gift bag, So something like this, like I pulled together like some really cute like gift bags, of course I had to put my little label on it, but like make sure you have a nice pretty little gift bag, all like in nice pretty pastel-y Easter colors, lovely hostess gift, tucked inside. So rule number 3, offer to help. The person's going to be scrambling around and they may say, oh no, there's nothing. There's something you can do. What can I do to help? Definitely offer to help the person because they could use your help with something. There's always something that needs to be done at the last minute. So definitely remember to offer to help. Okay. Now this is my kind of little modern etiquette thing. If someone is taking the time to invite you over, to break bread with them, you can put away your device for a couple of hours. And if you can't stay away from your phone for a couple of hours, then that's a whole nother show. But put your phone away. I just think it's important. Actually, there was, I saw something a few years ago on the internet, and the hostess had a beautiful bowl sitting right at her front door, and she asked all of her guests to place their phones in the bowl because she wanted everybody to be engaged. And I know some people would be like, I'm not going to put my phone, but for 2-3 hours, you can't really be engaged and be present with your, hostess. Come on. So I think that it's appropriate to say, hey, I'm going to just leave my phone in my handbag. Unless, of course, you have little children or something like that, and you want to make sure that you can get to this, that the sitter can, get to you, and you're reachable in case something should happen. I get it. If something else is going on, some other kind of emergency situation, totally understand that. But for the most part, phones, put them away. No devices. And last little etiquette tip for if you're a guest is don't post on social media and tag guests without hostess's approval so you don't offend anyone else who wasn't invited. We're very quick to put everything on social media, and that's great, but if that you all kind of keep the same company and maybe somebody else wasn't invited, because again, everybody can't always be invited to everything. I think I covered that in the first show. You don't want to make sure you're just posting all this stuff. Oh, I'm having a fabulous time in Angela's house. And then, Monica didn't get an invite or something. Then she's, what? I didn't know that Ange was having a party. So, don't post anything unless you've gotten approval from the host or the hostess. Okay, so now these are some etiquette rules for the host or the hostess. Now, this first one here, I know some people have, major issues with this and, the no shoe rule. So I know some people have rules in your home where you don't want anyone to wear shoes and things like that. And I can totally understand that. It's your home. But if you're I think you can ask people to do that if you're having, And I did some research on this. I wanted to kind of look around and see what different etiquette experts had to say. And it seems like the rule of thumb is if you're having six guests or less, then it's okay to ask people to, take off their shoes. But if you're having this whole big Christmas celebration and everyone's all decked out in their beautiful clothes with the shoes that they, wanted to go with their ensemble, they're not going to want to take their shoes off. And then no one wants to leave their shoes at the door like that. I mean, so it's funny. I'm just funny about that because I don't have that rule. And I get why people have it. But sometimes I'm always a little put off when people ask me to take my shoes off. Like, what if I haven't, quite made it to get a pedicure and it's summertime or something? I mean, I try to make sure I'm keeping up with all that, but what if, I don't know, or maybe you were in a hurry to get there. You wanted to be on time, but you didn't want to be early like the rule said, and you forgot a little lotion or something. You just, and then they asked me to take your shoes off, and you thought you were all covered up. But anyway, sorry. You can tell that happened to me. So anyway, I cracked myself up. Anyway, the whole no shoe thing, you kind of have to play it by ear. I think when you're having a smaller, more intimate group and you know everyone in the group, then that's fine. You can have a tray at the door. People know to leave their shoes there. And then you can have, some socks or some, little slippers or something for the female guests or whatever. And you can do that. But if you're having a big, huge party with a big group of people and it's mixed company, you don't know, that's kind of awkward, especially if you've never been, to have to take your shoes off and walk around and you have on this lovely outfit and your shoes are off. So anyway, that's how I feel about the no shoe rule. You can tell I'm very passionate about the no shoe rule. Okay. Be ready with at least the appetizers when guests arrive. Like if you said that, hey, brunch is at or dinner is at XYZ time, try to be ready, at least with some appetizers or something for people to eat in the interim. Now, I will be honest because I'm always scrambling right until the last minute. Like I'm like sliding in to the home plate at the last second, try to get everything just so. But I at least like to have appetizers and offer guests something to drink upon their arrival. So you at least want to make sure you have something for guests when they arrive. Number 3, and I think I shared this maybe the first week we did the whole entertaining piece, is accept help. Leave something for guests to do because guests are going to come and ask you, what can I do to help? Water glasses need to be filled. Ice needs to be placed in glasses. Place cards or something like that. Like, maybe not place cards. That's probably something you want to do yourself. But maybe if you're having a buffet, like all your markers for all of your food, like things like that, your guests can kind of come in and help you out with. So take them up on their offer. Trust me, because there will be something for them to do. Even if you're the hostess with the mostest, there's always something left left undone. So that'd be great if you have another set of hands to do that. As a gracious hostess, you don't want to stay holed up in the kitchen during the duration of the party. You want to make sure that you are spending time with your guests. Why did you invite them if you're going to stay holed up in the kitchen, making sure that everything is just so? That's why preparation is key, like I said in earlier shows. So you want to make sure you're not, taking all this time in the kitchen and doing everything, and then you're missing out on spending time with your guests. I know that I've had, I've been like still holed up trying to make sure everything's just so, let me sprinkle the powdered sugar on here, and and people are like, Ange, hello? We're out. Are you coming? Are you joining us? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're there and you're present with your guests because that's why you invited them. If you're going to stay in the kitchen the whole day, I mean, that's just not going to work. So you want to make sure you're present and engaged with your guests. So you want to make sure that you have as much stuff done so you don't have to you're not holed up in the kitchen. And then last is letting guests know the party's over. There used to be this thing, people were saying that sometimes they run the vacuum cleaner. That's not nice. You don't want to run the vacuum cleaner on the people. Don't do that. But there is a way to gently let people know that the party's over. Hey, everybody, this was so nice. Talk about the party in the past tense. This party was so great. It was so nice having you over. That's a gentle kind of way of letting them know that let's wrap it up here. The party has come to a close. So that's the polite way to do that. Another thing is if you're having a bar, shut the bar down, just like they do at the club. Ding, ding. last call for alcohol. You gotta go. So shut your bar down. And then that'll be a quick way for people to kind of wrap things up. So those are my little tips on my little etiquette tips here. Now the next thing we're going to do is some entertaining hacks. Now I know you've seen like life hacks and all different kinds of hacks, IKEA furniture hacks and different things like that online, but this is all about entertaining hacks. So I have a list of just 5 things that I just think are really good entertaining hacks. Now, I don't want to make anyone feel like, oh my gosh, again, if I don't have, the china and everything that Angela had, the stemware, I'm not going to be able to pull this together. So, that whole saying about fake it until you make it. So we're going to fake it until we make it with china. So I'm going to go over here in my let me move this over because I have my little Easter basket. So this is my little version of a little Easter basket. My little Easter basket for all my little entertaining stuff. So they have so much out here. Now, if I didn't tell you this wasn't China, Jay, can we close it? Do a close up of these? I want to show people these because these are amazing. This is plastic, disposable plastic. And if you didn't know any better and you have all this set up, you would think that this was China. And it's trimmed in silver and everything, and it looks like it's bone china. If you didn't look at it really hard, which I think is great, which is super cool. It's great. It's great. So if you don't have china, no pressure. They make things so believable now, and this just goes beyond just having like regular chinette or just like the clear plastic plates. They have all kinds. They have this trimmed in gold. They have some that has the designs around it that actually looks like it's like vintage china. They have all kinds of stuff, and they have the stemware, everything. So until you can get china, we're gonna fake it until we make it with, the disposables. Or I'm gonna say we're gonna faith it until we make it. You know why I'm gonna say faith it? Because I'm gonna have faith that you all are gonna invest in some china at some point after seeing all of this, and you're gonna say, I want to entertain. I want to get some china, so I'm going to have faith that you're going to do this. So we're going to faith it until we make it. So the next thing is how to make a makeshift bar. You're saying, I need to set up a bar. What am I going to do? A really great thing to do is if you already have a buffet or a sideboard, use that as your bar. Put a runner on it, or a tablecloth, and use that to set up your bar. Or if you have a console table, use that. There are lots of different ways you can get around things, and just use stuff that you already have, and just use a piece of furniture that you already have in your home. So a console table or a sideboard slash buffet is perfect to use for your bar. Now, another little thing, especially with spring and everything on the horizon, is third thing on the list is instead of, if you're doing like a lemonade or like a raspberry spritzer or something really refreshing to drink, place some mint in your ice cubes, and freeze them, some lemon or lavender. Really nice. That's a nice little, you're getting ready to pick up your glass and you're like, oh, look at that. Those little touches like that. Like you want, to me, and this is what I always say, especially when I was planning weddings, I have a client that's getting married in September. She took me out of retirement. She's a good friend. So I said, I will come out of retirement for you. And typically I don't deal with any neurotic brides anymore. But anyway, I told her throughout the wedding, you want there to be little surprises for your guest, all throughout the wedding. And the same thing for your event, whether it's a dinner party or whether it's a brunch or whatever. You want to make sure there's little surprises, So I think that having like the little mint or the lemon or the lavender at the ice cubes is cute. Now, the next thing is a tip for chilling wine or champagne fast. So let's say you just realized, oh my gosh, I didn't chill any of the wine or the champagne. It's all like, still like at room temperature. Quick way to do it is to take a dish towel, wet the dish towel, and then wrap that around. You want to make sure the dish towel is cold, and wrap that around the bottles, and that will chill it really fast. Or it's just submerging it and make sure the entire bottle is submerged completely in some cold water. Believe it or not, that will chill it faster than you putting it just in the freezer or something like that. I don't know all the science about it. I told you science is not my thing, but it will definitely chill it much faster than just sticking it in the freezer. So that's a little quick tip on that. And then the last entertaining hack is creating more prime real estate. And what is prime real estate when you're entertaining? The refrigerator space. You want to make sure that you have saved, that you, like I said, you want to make sure that you've taken as much out that you can before your event so that you can have everything, room for everything that you're going to be preparing and all of that. But of course, you're going to run out of space more than likely, unless you have one of these big, huge refrigerators, these double wide load refrigerators. So if you don't, get some, get tons of extra ice because you're going to be buying ice anyway for your drinks and things like that. Buy some other ice and then just keep some coolers. Fill them with ice and then use those as like your makeshift refrigerators and, just kind of put them aside. Like, if you have a garage, tuck them in the garage and you can kind of use that as a place to kind of keep things cold. My mom and I, do a lot of entertaining and things like that together when she's in town. So we've used that, like, that is our go-to thing. We'll get the coolers, load them with ice, and then we kind of use that as our, like, little makeshift refrigerator. So, I have 2 extra coolers on hand just so that I can use them for things like that, especially when I'm entertaining a big group. So there you have it, you all. We are going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to get into the main event, Easter brunch. I'll be right back. everyone, welcome back. As promised, it's all about Easter brunch. As you can see here, we have a little bit of everything for Easter brunch, and I want to get through everything. I'm so excited, and I'm so hungry. It smells so good, if I must say so myself. So Easter brunch. Now, I feel like Easter can either go, you can either say, hey, I want to have a brunch, or I want to do dinner. But you know what? Let me give you some reasons about why brunch, in my opinion. So I have three quick little reasons why, why brunch is a great option. So we'll pull those up in a sec. Brunch is great. And I'm going to tell you why. One reason is because I think that brunch is a little bit easier to pull together than a dinner, especially if you're a novice in entertaining and you're kind of like feeling a little unsure about everything. Pulling together a brunch is easier, I think, than doing a complete like dinner party. It can be a little more relaxed, so I think that takes a little bit of the pressure off. And one of the reasons why is reason number two is because you can prepare so many make-ahead dishes. Like you can do a French toast casserole. You can do biscuits and then just prepare them. Like mix them all up and then just prepare them the next day. Flash freeze them and prepare them the next day. There's so many different things that you can do ahead of time with a brunch. You can do a breakfast casserole or a frittata that I made here, and I'll get into that in a sec. There's just so many different things that you can do ahead of time, which is great for a brunch. And then the last reason is, I don't know of anybody who doesn't like brunch. Have you met anyone who said, oh, I don't really like brunch? Says no one. I don't know if anyone. Seriously, I've never heard of anyone that said they didn't like brunch. So I think it's a crowd pleaser to do brunch. So those are my three little reasons why I think brunch is great. So we're going to dive right into this menu. And what I did is I prepared some things, as you can see here. And then some things I have on my blog. So we're gonna go directly to some of my blog posts, and I can pull up some of the pictures and things there. So we're gonna go back and forth between what I have here and then some things that are already on the blog, which is perfect. So let's go for it. Let's start with the first thing up. Fresh blueberry yogurt parfaits. So we're gonna click on that in a moment, and then I just think that the fruit parfaits are great because they are a nice light, fresh way to start off your brunch. Because brunch can be, you have so much to choose from. You're going to be eating a lot of food. So it's nice to kind of start off with something a little bit, lighter, a little bit more refreshing to kind of start off, to kind of ease your palate into it. So I think, the yogurt parfaits are great. So we're going to... Okay, we're having a few little technical difficulties, but give us a sec. We're going to work on that. While we're, working on that, I'm going to go on and just run through, in the interest of time, some of the other things, and we'll go back to that link. So one of the things that yay! Thank you, Jay. So these are I did a brunch not too long ago. It was just ladies, and I thought that I wanted to try and I had never made like not a compote, a blueberry one, but I wanted to try. I was like, well, I wanted something light to start off the brunch. So what I did was these are little miniature parfait glasses. And I placed some Greek yogurt in the bottom, and then I made a blueberry compote, and then I topped it with some granola. Then I topped it with something called Dang, D-A-N-G. It's like a toasted coconut chips. So good. They are so, so, so good. And it just gave it a different little element between the granola and the toasted coconut chip and then the blueberry. And it was just a great bite. So that's a nice way to start it off, is to have like just some fruit and yogurt parfaits. So the next thing is frittata. No one is standing around like scrambling eggs and making everything to order for people. No, people. We're going to make this all in one dish. Make an egg dish. So what I did today was I made a vegetable frittata. And we can show that. So yeah, so first I'm going to show this vegetable frittata that I have here. This vegetable frittata is great. If we can zoom in there. Perfect. Yeah. So it's perfect for your vegetarian guests, or if someone is doing a whole gluten-free kind of thing, or they're avoiding carbs. This is perfect because it has it's crustless. So it's like a frittata is basically a quiche without the crust. So what I did was I used basically what I had on hand. And that's the beautiful thing about a frittata. You can do asparagus spears, like petite asparagus spears, and put in it. You can do spinach, which is what I did today. Mushrooms, that's also in here today. So let me just tell you what I did first. I did spinach, mushrooms, peppers, onions, and of course, I did like 3 different cheeses. But you can put meat in here if you want. You can do ham, you can do bacon, you can do turkey sauce, you can do pork, you can do chicken, so anything you want, really, in a frittata. You can just make it your own. But what I did was I sauteed all the vegetables, and then I made my egg mixture, and then I poured that on top, put the cheese in, and put it in the oven. And you're set. You have your egg dish, because I don't eat eggs. You're going to find out I have a lot of weird food issues. I'll make it, but I won't eat it. Isn't that crazy? But this is perfect. Again, if somebody is vegetarian, so of course you want to make sure you have a little something for everyone, or if someone is avoiding carbs or gluten, frittata is perfect. A veggie frittata is perfect. And then the other thing that I did have, if you're doing both meat and carbs, if you're like me and you're just, run amok and you do it all, then the other thing is I did a croissant breakfast casserole, and that's also on the blog too. And that bacon makes everything better, right? So that's, of course, I fried some bacon, and then I placed that on the top, right before I baked it. So perfect. And then mixed in with that is, and again, this is why it's great. You mix this all up overnight. It's almost like the same method you would use for like a sweet, like a bread pudding. So you put the bread in and everything in there, and mixture in with it. You put it in with the egg mixture. You let it sit in the fridge overnight, so all of that kind of comes together, and all the flavors and everything meld together. And then the next morning you bake it. So that saves time, so you're not running around trying to do a whole bunch on Sunday morning for Easter brunch. You do it the night before, and then you bake it the next day. I love stuff like that. And then the next thing that we have on our list is, to me, the centerpiece of Easter brunch. I know some people are vegan and vegetarian and things like that, but to me, Easter is synonymous with ham. So what I do is I do an apricot glazed ham. So we're going to, let me shift things down just a little. Well, since we've already featured you, we're going to move you over. Hi, frittata. And we're going to focus on this lovely ham. I'm going to turn it around. Don't worry, y'all. I had it. I got this. I was a little nervous though. So I do an apricot glazed ham, and I'm going to, yes. So yeah, so it's just a regular spiral ham, and then what I do is I take a mixture. I buy a jar of apricot jam, then I take a little bit of orange juice, brown sugar. Trying to think of what else I put in there. Not much else. And then I just kind of form the glaze. And another little shortcut, if you don't want to make your own and go through all of that, the little packet that comes with your ham, the little packet to make a glaze, just take that with the orange juice, because that's everything in it that you need. And then take the apricot jam, put that on the stove. You just want everything to kind of come together until everything is kind of dissolved. And then right before you're about to take your ham out of the oven, then you want to pour the glaze on it, and then you want to put it back in the oven so it all kind of caramelizes. So I have a little bit of some of the juice. Baby. Oh my gosh. So good. Yeah. It smells so good, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait until after the show to dig into this. So, apricot glazed ham, there you have it. And it's just a different way of doing it instead of, the traditional way with, pineapples and cherries. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat ham any kind of way. Give me the oink oink. I like it. I know some people don't eat it. Sorry, I get it. But I'll eat it any kind of way. But the apricot, it's just a little bit of a. I don't like apricots, but I like apricot glaze on this ham. Go figure. So of course, in addition to the ham, you do want to offer some other things because people may not have my same affinity to like meat. So you want to make sure you're offering things to your guests that don't eat meat. So I would also have on the buffet or on the menu turkey menu and turkey bacon and sausage. So there you have it. Next up on the menu, fresh fruits with lemon lime dressing. So what I did was I made these fresh fruit parfaits. And again, people eat with their eyes. I could have easily mixed these all together and mixed all the fruit together, but I thought that it would be better to kind of layer it. So what I did was these are wine glasses, just stemless wine glasses, and I put a layer of fresh blackberries at the bottom. I cut up some fresh pineapple, fresh raspberries, and then I have blueberries on the top. And then what you want to do to make the dressing is you just take some fresh lime juice, fresh lemon juice, add it to some honey, and drizzle it over your fruit. It gives it such a nice, refreshing taste with the citrus, and the honey makes it a little sweet. And I kind of tend to put more of the juice in than the honey because I want it to be more of a refreshing kind of taste, but these are great. And you can also do these smaller too, like the same size of the parfaits that I did. You could also do like a smaller jar and they're glass, and they're maybe about half this size with the fruit too. But this is a nice portion of fruit because you want to kind of balance it out with everything else that you're having on the menu that's going to be, a little bit heavier. So that's that with the fresh fruit. Breakfast potatoes. You got to have some starch to round out the menu. So you definitely want to have breakfast potatoes. And then next up, my favorite, bread. Bread, please. So we're going to do a little shifting here and get this in the. Ooh, wait a minute. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be wise and take everything down and move everything into the shot. It's okay. We're going to just do a little shifting. No, I'm going to keep it up here. Thanks, because I'm going to kind of go. Biscuits. Okay. So, let me move these over. So, biscuits. I am a bread junkie. Like, if I could just make a meal off of bread and pasta, I would. Actually, sometimes I do. My son's off at college, so I'm an empty nester. So sometimes I just have like grilled cheese for dinner. Sometimes I just have pasta with butter for dinner because I love carbs. My waistline doesn't like carbs, but I like carbs. But biscuits. This is a biscuit recipe. It's totally from scratch. And let me just pick up one of these so you can check them out. They are so... Oh, and you can even see as I'm picking the biscuit up how it's indenting it because they're so light and fluffy. I want to put my hands on this one because I'm going to eat this one. But I wanted to just show you just how light and fluffy it is. And they're made with butter and butter flavored shortening. That's why you see the little yellow tint to them. And buttermilk and whipping cream. And something that's a little kind of, some people are kind of like, oh, I don't know, that's not a traditional biscuit, but it has an egg in it. And what the egg does is it keeps it so that they will rise a little bit higher and makes them a little more tender. So these are delicious. And then I made homemade, I'm gonna put this one over here for me. Then I made homemade honey butter and kind of brushed them on there. So I'm going to get into with another baking thing. We're going to do a whole little thing with biscuits. I have a little idea for a show kind of surrounding a little idea with that with brunch and biscuits. So more on the biscuits because there's so many different ways you can do a biscuit. You can do a drop biscuit, which doesn't require any rolling, which is very simple. And speaking of which, I have a little mix here of drop biscuit mix that I made. And all drop biscuits are your flour and your liquid, which is your milk or your buttermilk or whatever, and melted butter. So all you have to do to this mix is add your melted butter. In this case, this is for drop biscuits, not the biscuits here with the eggs. This is a much simpler recipe for those who are like not into really baking like that. And why they're called drop biscuits is because you don't have to roll them out. You simply drop them onto the baking sheet. And that's all. You take 2 spoons, you scoop it out, the dough out, and you drop it right into the pan. So this is already mixed. That's already prepared. That's all set so that all you have to do is just add the butter and the milk to it. Just like you would buy mix from the store, but you make it yourself. It's so easy. All you're adding is the self-rising flour to it, and you have it all portioned out. And this is a great, and I have it all packaged here, very lovely. You see that little Fabulous Living? You can make that an Happy Easter label or something like that on it, and give these to your guest as a favor. What? Yes! How about that? Hey, everyone's hey, I want you to take a little bit of the brunch home with you. Tomorrow morning, you can create this. Easter Monday, you're going to be off probably. Maybe not, but anyway, why not? Even if you got to go to work, eat the biscuits. It's only going to take a few seconds. And you can give your guest a lovely little, like I said in the gift bags I had earlier, place your drop biscuit mix in there and maybe give them a little jar of jam to go with it. And then they're all set. Isn't that a great idea? Next up, sour cream coffee cake. So, we're going to move this over. Is this in the shot, Jay? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, yay! Sour cream coffee cake. Now, what this was a recipe for a 9-inch coffee cake. But what I decided to do is make muffins instead, because then they're easier. People can just kind of grab them and put them on their plate instead of having to cut, So I thought that these would be great. So I just made them into muffins. And let me tell you what the thing is about it. And it's just like, the coffee cake that you can get at the store that has all the crunchy crumb at the top. This is exactly what these are. And I'm going to pick this one up because I'm going to eat this one. And I want to zoom in, if you can, Jay, on that. So it has a nice, tender, and it's kind of crunchy at the top, but I want you to see how nice and moist that is. And what makes those so moist? Sour cream. Sour cream is your friend when you're baking because you can put it in your muffins. You can put it in cakes. Makes cakes get to that little bit of a tang and makes them more moist. So these are great. And then it has a nice crunchy crumb on the top, the streusel on the top, and then you just dust it with some powdered sugar. Delish. And then what I wanted to show you too is, let's say you're like, Ange, I'm not making my own drop biscuit mix. But while you're making these, you can decide, hey, I'll make some of these and put them in a nice little cellophane bag, and then those could be your favors for your guests. Again, they're still taking home a little bit of the brunch with them. I just think that's nice to have something, as I've shared with you. I'm into, having something for your guests to take home. And I just think that's perfect. And let me just show you how I made those. So these are springform pans. Springform pans are pans that you make like cheesecake in typically. But in this case, I have these miniature ones, and they're perfect size for like individual things. I did some of these like for like the holidays, and I put like some different little small pound cakes and different things like that. You put it down in a pretty bag, tied with a ribbon. People love that. So I wanted to show you. So what a springform pan does is it's a form pan. It's called springform because it springs open. So I'm just going to show you. So you kind of pop it. It's like a lock on it, and then. And then you have your cake. Look at that. And see how tender that is? I mean, it's so moist and it's so pretty. I want to eat it, but I won't. But it looks, I'm just telling you. Even just touching, it's just so moist and it just keeps bouncing back. Can't wait till after the show. Sorry. Sorry. You can always come to the studio live when you're here in the DC area anytime, and you can partake. Okay, so that's that with the sour cream coffee cake. Next up, oh, and I need to speed it along because we're running out of time, is spinach salad. So you kind of want to round out your menu again, and you want to make sure you have some greens too. So spinach salad, of course, spinach, fresh strawberries, and then I put some toasted almond slices on top. And then you want to serve it with something kind of light, like a poppy seed dressing. So I have dressing here. You make sure, of course, that it's placed right by your salad, and there you have it with your spinach salad. Very simple, easy, and it's pretty, and it looks very spring-like. Next up, brunch should be a combination. I mean, brunch is breakfast and lunch. Brunch. So you should still have some lunchy kind of like things. So I wanted to show you a little video, quick video of a dish that I did this week. And I love it because it's all in one skillet. That's what I'm talking about. Again, entertaining doesn't have to be crazy and I'm baking 50 million things and oh my gosh, I have all burners on the stove going. I did this in one pan and I had it done in 30 minutes or maybe a little bit less than that. So Jay, whenever you're ready, we can pull up this quick video that I did of some balsamic glazed chicken, which is a nice savory dish to kind of round it out on your menu too. And again, for people who don't eat the pork, they have that too. Hey everybody. Long day at work, but I had this chicken seasoning and marinating since Sunday, so I had to cook it. So what did I whip up? I whipped up a lovely balsamic glazed chicken over fresh petite whole green beans, and I threw in some cherry tomatoes on the vine and blistered them, so that's going to get all mixed in there with the chicken. So everybody, sorry for that teaser. I don't have it here, but I am going to be posting that on the blog this week. But that's a nice dish, to, like I said, to kind of have something a little savory added to the menu. And you can also do it with salmon. That's another thing you can do too. You can just replace the chicken with the salmon if somebody doesn't do chicken. Then the last thing on our menu is icebox lemon pie. And we have that up on I have that up on the blog too. And I think lemon is nice because it's light, it's refreshing. And to me, anything lemony, citrusy, and the color even, it just screams spring. So we can pull up that picture on the blog. That'd be great. Lemon pie, and then I did it with a pecan praline crust. And you can do it without the nuts if somebody has an aversion to nuts, of course. But it's really light. I did it with fresh whipped cream, garnished it with some lemons and some mint. And then, of course, you want to have coffee, tea, mimosas, all of that for folks to drink, different juices. And there you have it, Easter brunch. How fabulous is that? Time's up, everybody. Hope you have some tips and some ideas of what you may want to do for your Easter brunch. Hopefully I share some things with you that you can take along with you as you're thinking the next couple of weeks about what you're going to serve for your family and friends. I enjoyed you as usual. Have a fabulous week. Blessings.